So, let's start with returns. Remember, there's two ways of earning with DuePoint. Two ways. The first is returns. It's kind of the set way of earning, is your returns on your channel. We chose that word because it is the return on the effort and the time you put in. It's not us paying you a commission. There's no commissions in DuePoint. There's no rebates. This is a return on your effort. A return on your time. And that's why we call it returns. From scratch again, and I know some of you have seen our introduction presentation 100 times already, but from scratch, here's how it works. You build a channel. We then place our products into your channel. When an individual makes a payment, which happens once a month, why? Because all of our products are paid for monthly and they run off of a debit order system. Isn't that marvelous? You go to an individual, you get them to join DuePoint, and you actually never need to talk to them again. That's not preferable for building channels, but if you really didn't like them, as long as they've got the product, you know you're earning, and you never have to talk to them again. Because every month, we will raise that debit order and make sure they make the payment, and you get 27.50 Rand multiplied by a factor of where that payment was in your channel as your base return. Okay, let's talk through that nice and slowly. That means that our base return to you is 27.50 Rand, but we want you focused on only your first and second point. This is something you're going to hear me saying over and over for as long as you're here with us. Your first and your second point are individuals you put in, that's your first point, and individuals they put in. You do not care about anyone beyond them. You don't. Because if you are duplicating the correct activities in your first point and your second point, they will be duplicating those activities in your third and your fourth and your fifth and your sixth and your seventh. You only have 2 hands. You only have 8 hours in the day. When you have a channel that has 2,000 people in it, you simply cannot manage all of them yourself. You need to, at that stage, have duplicated yourself into others. And you start with your first and second point. So, in order to encourage you to do that, look what we do. 27.50 Rand times 200%. That's what we pay every time someone in your first or second point pays, okay? It means you get 55 Rand for each payment. Now that's marvelous, but you want to know what's even more marvelous? You don't get 55 per person. You get 55 Rand per product per person. So now, I mean, I have said this a few times, but I'm out there after introduction presentations, everyone's like, oh no, just take one. Just take one. Why? Why would you want them to only tick one? Why would you only want them to tick one? What happens when you tick 2? What you get then is 110 Rand from that individual every month. What happens if you get them to take all 3 of our current products? You get 165 Rand per person. Now you'll remember, under the old system, you got 5 Rand. Wouldn't it be nice to be getting 165 Rand? Every month, going forward. Guys, you've got 2 ways of building your channel at DuePoint. The one where you kill yourself putting individuals in with 1 product each, or the one where you do 1/3 the effort, and everybody takes 3 products. Have you got 3 DuePoint products? Because if the answer is no, you cannot duplicate that activity into your first and second point. You cannot. They'll say, well, how many products have you got? You go, no, I've got 1, but you should take 3. Guys, this is channel building. You have to be the example. The top guy casts a very long shadow. Depending on how big your channel is, that could be a 10,000 people long shadow. You need to have all 3 products if you want all these other individuals to have all 3 products and for you to be earning 165 Rand per person per month going forward. It's in your hands. I leave it with you. But what we're doing is we're encouraging you to focus on your first and second. You want them to be doing what you're doing. Beyond that, it's people you don't know. Do not hunt down your channel and find a guy in point 16 and go, wow, this guy's really building. I'm going to connect with him and build with him. Do you know how long that's going to last? 5 minutes. He does not know who you are, and he lives in Pofadisrus. It's 2,000 kilometers from your house. It's extremely difficult for you to be duplicating into an individual like that. Alright, so what happens then? As you move from point 3 onwards, that 27 Rand 50 starts reducing per product, per person, per month. Because you should be having less and less influence in what is happening down there, and yet we still choose to reward you. So as you move to point 3, you now just get the 27 Rand 50. It's 27 Rand 50 times 100%. Everyone still following me with this?
Yes.
Okay, it's easy, okay? And then it goes down to 80%, 40%, 20, 8, and 4. When you hit your 8th point, you get a minimum of 4%, which means that it does not reduce any further after that. If you put 12 points into your channel, you'll still be getting 4% per product, per person, per month on your 12th point. Okay? Which is awesome. There is no limit to this. If you put 30 points in, you'll still be getting 4% per person, per product, per person, per month. Okay? So it's wonderful. It does taper off, but it stops, and then it keeps going. And as you know, the bigger you can make your first and second point, the bigger the rest of your channel will naturally be. So that 4% very quickly outruns your 200%. Very quickly. It's just simple mathematics, okay? But you will not have a very large channel if you are failing to duplicate the correct activities in your first and second point. I've seen it over and over. Do not believe that if you're doing the right thing on your 4th and 5th point, it'll be okay. It won't. It is very hard to duplicate the right activities from yourself that far into your channel. You want to be doing it right up here, right in the beginning, point 1 and 2. So that's nice and simple. You see the numbers, they roll off 22 Rand, 11 Rand, and it drops down 5 Rand, 2 Rand, 1 Rand 10. You know you're getting 1 Rand 10 for every person, for every product, every month, as big as your channel gets after that. As I said, that very quickly accelerates past point 1 and 2.